Well, they did it again. Last week it was beating a ranked opponent. This week it's beating an opponent on the road, and they needed that victory. This is the Quick Cast, part of the Boiled Sports Podcast Network. Today's Quick Cast is brought to you by Martin Vintage. MartinVintage.com, where if you enter Boiled at checkout, you'll get 20% off. Mom, thanks for watching. Hey everybody, I'm sure you watched it. I'm sure you got to see it live. I didn't. I had something that pulled me away, but I got to go back and watch the Nebraska game on tape. In fact, you may see it in the background right now, and I got some observations, probably things that you've seen, probably things that you heard, but this is just what I saw. First off, most importantly, like I said in the intro, this was a big deal because Purdue went into a very hostile environment and was playing a team that really wanted to beat Purdue. They really wanted this victory. And Purdue handled their business. Not only did they beat them soundly. Much like the Boston College game, there was very little doubt that Purdue was going to win after about middle of the first quarter, maybe early second quarter. Purdue just started playing its game, and Nebraska couldn't do much about it. That Nebraska defense, by the way, is not good. I think you all know that. The idea that the black shirts entity still exists, the thing that Nebraska hangs its hat on because of, history that doesn't really occur anymore, is still hanging around. We heard black shirts way too many times during the telecast of that. We also heard Matt Millen talk way too much about anything, but that's really neither here nor there. It's good Purdue's on TV. It's nice that we get to watch the game live, but man, that's kind of tough sometimes. That's what the mute button was created for. Things like that and Gus Johnson. And here's what I saw. I saw David Blau doing what David Blau does nowadays, which is get into a rhythm, find the guys that are open, and really hit them in stride. He made a couple bad passes, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a perfect game, but his completion percentage was just under 60%. He had a ton of yards. Great day. He tucked the ball and ran when it was needed. And guess what? He can play better. He's got room in his game to do even more and get back into a groove like he did versus Missouri. And his receivers can help him out a little bit. I counted 4 or 5 drops that were legit right in the hands drops. One of them was kind of a tough ball to catch by Terry Wright in the end zone. You guys probably remember that, the left side where he beat the DB, got in underneath him, and Blau put it in the perfect spot. And Wright dropped it. Wright had a couple drops. Hopkins had a drop. And I know Zico had one. So there were some drops there. Those receivers played well. Hopkins specifically at tight end is really coming into his own. He's starting to look like a guy who is an NFL player next year. After he's only a junior. He's still got Herdman as a senior. Herdman's still very solid, but Hopkins is kind of separating himself with his athleticism. He's a real tough guy to cover for linebackers. Next up, DJ Knox, one of my favorite players because we're, guys that are both vertically challenged and built similarly. I mean, I am shredded just like him. Well, maybe not that part, but I do weigh a lot and I am short. And so I'm a big fan of DJ Knox, but I'm also a fan of him because he just gets tough yards and he doesn't give up. He's so good at hitting a hole quickly. He's so good at putting his shoulder down and finishing runs. And as we saw versus Nebraska, he can catch the ball really well out of the backfield and he can do some other things.Is Superman impression going down the sideline was awesome. It was iconic. That's why I chose to do that for the rendering this week, not David Blau. It was a close second. I thought about doing David Blau because I really haven't given him the respect he deserves in my renderings that go with these podcasts. But man, DJ Knox is coming along and he's vastly improved. This is one thing Matt Millen was right about. He said that Knox looks like a guy who doesn't even think about his knee anymore, and I agree with that. That season after his ACL injury, he did not look quite the same. He was still good, but he didn't look like what we thought he was capable of playing. Behind him, Markel Jones continues to be patient, continues to be smart, and continues to not put the ball on the ground, which is a problem that he's had during his career. So if you can have that 1-2 punch continue to do what they're doing, and maybe even Richard Worship could come back in the second half of the season, Purdue could be really deadly on offense. They can get better. And this is kind of the biggest thing that I keep coming to. Purdue's playing good football right now. They can play better. The defense has the ability to do what they did versus Boston College, I think, again, which is really plan for a team, get the right matchup, and just shut them down completely. And this offense has room to grow, surprisingly. The offensive line is starting to look very good. I think in the background something good just happened. Yeah, the offensive line is is coming along, and they are starting to know each other really well, and Purdue just looks solid. Another thing that's really interesting, and we've seen it for the past few weeks, is teams are having a hard time staying healthy versus Purdue. It's not because Purdue's playing cheap, it's because Purdue's playing hard, and kind of their strength and their preparation is wearing teams down, especially younger teams. I don't think Purdue's going to play a team in the next few weeks, other than Illinois, save Illinois, that will struggle with injuries like Nebraska did this past week. I mean, Nebraska, it seemed like every 7th or 8th play in the second half, somebody was going down. And most of them came back in the game, but Nebraska kind of took it on the chin from the burly, tough Boilermakers. Great effort from Purdue. Purdue, of course, victorious in Lincoln, Nebraska, 42-28. It's the first time these Boilermakers have beaten a Nebraska Cornhusker team on the road. So that's awfully fun, and it's a big confidence booster because I think this team has it in them to win those 4 games that they need to not only go to a bowl, 4 road games, pardon me, but to get into a bowl game comfortably. How the fortunes have changed, how this has really, really changed my idea of what this team's capable of, and it's gotten it back to where it was back in August, honestly. We all thought this team could be good, and now they look like they can do what we thought they could do back before the season started. Next up, Illinois in 2 weeks after a bye, and then the big one. If Purdue wins and they're 3-3, they're going to be playing Ohio State and looking to derail the immense amount of momentum Ohio State has after that amazing comeback victory in Happy Valley. That was a game, of course, I wanted no team to win and was hoping for some sort of natural disaster. Not to kill anybody, but just make the game so it never happened, so we never had to look at it. There's lots of stuff coming out of this very website. Your pals here at Boiled Sports will have tons and tons of content, even on the bye week, so stay tuned. Want to give a shout out to our pal Tyler Trent as he continues to fight. Thanks to everyone from vice presidents down to lowly bloggers who have wished him well. I love hearing people trying to keep his spirits up as they pray and reach out to him. Tyler's a real good guy. This is not like something that you hear, he's being created by the media. This is a real person who is really sick and he's fighting hard. And my heart's breaking, even as I talk for his parents and his family, who they're doing everything they can to stay positive. Love these people, and I don't even know them. Go Boilers. Go Tyler Trent. Praying for you, hoping for a miracle. Bless you. God bless all you guys. Have a great day. BS all the time.